EA Sports coverage of the NFL has us at the foot of the Rockies, just west of downtown Denver at Empower Field at Mile High. And off we go from Denver. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he'll get this just across the 25-yard line.
Look, all any running back wants is a little bit of room, a little bit of space in order to maneuver. But he also understands how difficult it is for his offensive line up front. So if they give him any space, he realizes his job to make more out of it than what they give him. Picks up 3 on that carry.
Here's a 2nd and 7. Man open. He's got it complete to Cortland Sutton. And Sutton will have a Broncos first down as the tackle made up near the 35. 9 yards that time.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Now a 2nd and 10. Nix from the shotgun. That's caught by his tight end, Evan Ingram. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. A 10-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Broncos first down.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
And he's got this one across midfield into Cowboy territory. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
And after that type of a run, there's some talking going on down on the field, but it's not trash talking. The guy who just carried the ball, he's going back and telling his offensive line, great job, keep it up, and we'll break that one soon.
They'll run. It's McLaughlin. Oh, that one well designed as he'll take this down to the 30-yard line. Solid gain of 18 yards and a Denver first down.
That's a very nice game there. A confidence-building run. Love the execution up front, and the way he pressed the hole, absolutely perfect.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Here's Nix. He'll find his tight end. It's Adam Troutman. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
And he's wrapped up, taken down, back at the 25. Micah Parsons showing off that elite athleticism as he gets the sack. But defensively on the previous play, they gave up a pretty good chunk of yardage, but right there, they got a good portion of it right back.
And if we just flip it around from the offensive perspective, took a nice step forward, and how about a couple of leaps backwards after that play? They've got to figure out a big call coming up here to try and gain that yardage back.
And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. That's good for a first down, his 2nd catch of the opening drive.
A lot of precision being shown on this opening drive. They've been methodical, they've been crisp, and as a reward, they're going to be set up with an early 1st and goal.
A terrific opening drive has them knocking on the door, 1st and goal. They'll try to run this one in, and he is into the end zone for a Denver touchdown. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Broncos get the upper hand as they're on the board first here this afternoon.
Like what we saw right there, good running down near the goal line because that was a really good drive. They were able to possess the ball, have some early success moving it downfield, and then clearly the most important thing, finishing things off with the ball in the end zone.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. So out come the Cowboys now as their offense gets set to take over. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
They decided the opportunity was there and launched a deep ball, but he was unable to get away from the defender, couldn't create space, couldn't uncover at the end of the route, and that one winds up incomplete.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. To throw is Prescott. A quick throw there is incomplete.
A couple of quick incompletions, and now they're just one more away from getting off the field. They've got options now. Could they dial up a blitz here or just drop everyone into coverage to crowd the throwing lanes?
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Throwing, Prescott. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he will have a Cowboys 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Plenty of things to talk about here, partner, but to me, their defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive. How about how they're responding, coming back? That's a big 3rd down pickup to keep their drive alive.
Lamb will go in motion. And they're going to give it to him on the jet sweep. Oh, and this one may need to go back to the drawing board. He's going to be swallowed up right away. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
And, Brandon, as we continue to see, so much of the influence on this game is now coming from those hybrid-type players. In this case, strong safety, not worried about covering the pass. What a play on the run.
Tackled for a loss.
Yeah, forget the pregame introductions. He introduced himself with authority on that play.
And the Broncos get there and take him down. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down. Well, he was really focused downfield, but there was really no viable options. The coverage was too good.
And the defense really quickened the tempo of that play with their pass rush because there was nowhere for him to go with the football. The only place he ended up, down on the ground.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Able to find the open man. That's complete. He's got this to the 30 before being taken down. 3rd and 19, no problem, as they're able to convert.
Oftentimes now, offenses aren't nearly as precise as days gone by. They just tell receivers, find an open patch of grass and let the quarterback find you. And that's exactly what they did on that play. First with the pass through the air, nice chunk of yardage there, and then additional pickup with his legs after the catch. It's vitally important to wrap him up immediately because if you let that big guy get a head of steam up, boy, then you've got real trouble trying to get him down.
But they're able to hold him to a short gain on 1st down. 2nd down, 8 to go from the 28. They'll run it for the first time with Williams. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. They give those 2 yards right back, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 10.
How about the job there on the outside? Shed the wide receiver and was able to make the tackle on the perimeter.
It's been a pretty long drive. This will be play number 9, and they need 10 yards out of it on 3rd. Now Prescott. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Nothing open downfield. He keeps it himself for 11 and a 1st down.
He's a talented runner, and that means he's always looking for bigger and bigger gains when he takes off. Certainly found some bonus yards there beyond the 1st down marker, and this early drive will continue with that extra jolt from his legs.
Now a 1st down carry. It's Williams. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they had 3 tight ends in on that set.
And these guys are punching really well. I use boxing analogies a lot. A lot of coaches have told me that when you line up to run the football, it's 10 fist fights along the line of scrimmage, right? You've got to win your share. These 3 tight ends, they almost...
And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. Jake Ferguson from 4 yards out. And the Cowboys respond to that opening drive touchdown with one of their own. Well, that's just how they drew it up, CD. His first read was there, got it to him quickly, and into the end zone.
Absolutely excellent execution by all involved. And the coordinator, got to give him credit, found the perfect play call. Quarterback let it fly as soon as the target came free, and his guy made a nice catch. Just how you draw it up in practice and then execute it in the game.
Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos. A lot of time for this unit to game plan on the sideline after that drive that they watched the other side just score. But remember, last time they were out, they scored as well. We'll see if they can seize that momentum right back.
And they have had a lot of time to cool off from reaching the end zone the last time. So have they been able to keep themselves mentally sharp and into this game even though they haven't been on the field? And you and I both know, one big play, though, gets them right back up to that level.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The escapability in evidence there as that one good for 15 and a first.
I can't be sure how much of that was planned pre-snap, but it certainly opens up some avenues for their offense. And if he can stay a threat to break off those kind of runs, it'll pull defenders away from coverage and open up some choice throwing lanes for him moving forward.
And good vision there as he's across midfield and down to the 45-yard line. That one good for 13 and a Denver first down. His first carry of their second drive, pretty solid. And, of course, remember back to their first drive, really strong throughout that one.
Not only is he getting good blocking up front, but how about his vision to find the holes? And he's seeing things before they even open and hurdling through them.
On first down, it's Harvey. Takes this to the 45. Not much space after that broken tackle. Defensively, a solid response after giving up back-to-back first downs.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there. But how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
They'll keep it on the ground. It's Harvey. He takes this for about 6 down inside the 40.
I think we all suspected that they were going back to him after he found the end zone on his last carry, and they kept the positive momentum going there. Another nice run by him.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. Nix to the air. He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
They'll put a check mark in the box where the defense coordinator was saying, how well can we stay with these receivers if we're in man coverage? Because he just did it on that one, forced the incompletion. That'll allow him to get bolder with his pass rush, won't it?
Absolutely. Frees up your guys elsewhere. And this one is no good. He missed it. And in this first quarter of play, this will remain a tie ball game. Second drive forthcoming here for the Dallas Cowboys.
And anytime you see a kicker trot out to try one from 56 yards, you know everything's got to come off perfectly for it to have a chance. If the laces aren't quite right, if he doesn't hit the fat part of the ball just right, it's unlikely to go through, and that one winds up no good.
Prescott to throw it. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
I think that's how this defense is going to need to play these tight ends. They got to get right up on them and stay physical. And that paid off on that play, helping force that incompletion.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. On the counter, here's Williams. shoves him away. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he will have a Cowboys first down by about a yard as they're able to convert on 3rd and 2.
And how about that on 3rd down? So many different directions an offense can go. Throw it out wide to the receivers, get it to their speedy running back. They changed up everything and handed it to the fullback, and he surprised them all and picked up a first down.
Now Prescott. He hits blue. And he gets this down inside the 35 before going out of bounds. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And it'll bring up a 2nd and short.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down. Seven, our score after 1. Start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Cowboys in possession as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Up the middle, it's Williams. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down, and as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
So from the 22, here's 2nd and 2. Prescott. He's got this to Pickens. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. 2nd catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down.
But certainly as a fan, you get a little bit nervous when you see him make those kind of throws. But they work on that in practice more than we know. And most of them now know their limits and know what they can get away with. And there's a completion right there.
They'll try and run. This is Williams. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. Only a yard that time, 2nd and goal.
If you're going to keep these guys out of the end zone, you've got to be able to commit to stopping the run. And that's a nice job there, getting the safeties involved in run support.
2nd and goal from inside the 5. Williams again. And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. Javonte Williams taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Cowboys have taken the lead. Well, solid blocking up front from the guys on the offensive line allowed him to get in for the touchdown.
Yeah, some might say that the guys on the offensive line were in concert. I used to have a coach who called it marrying up, meaning when you get on a guy, you just stay right there, and each guy has his own assignment. That allowed the runner to make the big move towards the end zone.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. And we get another look now at this Broncos offense. That 7-0 lead of theirs short-lived as they've now given up 2 straight touchdowns to fall behind by 7.
Yeah, but no cause for discouragement here. Yeah, they've fallen behind, but haven't they proven that they can go down and score? So what was the formula that got them down there the first time? Get back to something close to that, and maybe they can get this game tied up.
And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
I have a feeling they'll stay committed to running the football, especially on the early downs. They just haven't had a whole lot of success just yet.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Back to throw. Nix. Oh, and that is incomplete.
The best receivers we know always tease their quarterbacks that, hey, no matter what you do, you cannot overthrow me. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened on that play. Normally, they time it up pretty well, but on that one, he just overshot him.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. A short throw to Ingram, finding room at midfield. And finally brought down at the 43. A big play that time on the catch and run. And the Broncos are going to have a new set of downs.
And that's patience to be admired right there, because he looks left, looks right, and waits for the right guy to come open, spots him in the middle of the field, and delivers.
So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 43. They run the counter. Harvey. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. All that blown up by DeMarvion Overshown.
As a linebacker, you're taught to stay just slightly behind the ball carrier just in case he makes a cutback. But when you find the gap, shoot it. And he found it all right. Took it straight into the backfield and made the tackle for a loss.
2nd and 13. A short throw to Ingram.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
They missed a field goal on their last drive. Here they need something to even get into field goal range on 3rd down. Up the middle they go. It's Harvey. They needed 2. They could only get 1. 4th down. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
The kick by Lutz is good. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So he missed his first attempt, remember, but this time he gets back on the bike and knocks it home.
Yeah, and sometimes that first one can really impact you moving forward. It can just stay with you too long and affect everything else you do during the game. In this case, though, able to shake it off. He's riding high again.
Following the made field goal, Lutz to kick it away. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line. The offense for the Cowboys now working their way back onto the field. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
Play action now. Prescott. He'll fire deep downfield for Lamb. That's caught inside the 20. And he takes this in the red zone all the way inside Denver's 15. A big play here for Dallas. 64 yards. The defense, they weren't fooled on that post route. They just couldn't make the play.
And the offense definitely tried to fool them because you saw the other route combinations, didn't you? Anything that they were running trying to draw attention away from the deep part of the field, but still had it covered.
And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Riley Moss. And the Broncos are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They had everyone crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
2nd and 9 now from the 21. Operating from the gun. Nix. This one complete. It's Devon Vele. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. His first catch there, good for 10 yards and a first down.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do on that one is the receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
He completes this to Sutton.
Missed.
He will not go down. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
They sure put the coverage guys in a stress on that one. They thought they were going deep. Ends up curling inside for a nice chunk of yardage.
A carry from McLaughlin. He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards.
That was a pretty good job defensively to hold him to a 2-yard run, but I've got to think this offensive line, they're asking their quarterback for a different type of a run, one that they rely on, one they have confidence in, one they feel like they can block.
2nd down and 8. Now a give right side. It's Harvey, and he's got this one across midfield into Cowboy territory.
I think if we put together a job description for a middle linebacker, we would start with being able to hold down things in the middle of the line of scrimmage and be able to take on blockers. But how about the guys who can go sideline to sideline and make plays?
Love a guy that can do that. We saw a perfect example of it right there. Now it's Nix. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And this will be up to the ruling of the side judge here. He says it crossed out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And now Dallas gets set to take the field. In a close game like this, Charles, those interceptions like they had on the last drive could be costly. But here they've got another opportunity to seize control of this game.
And they'd better take advantage of it, because otherwise, if they end up losing by 1 score, they'll relive this over and over and over until they have another opportunity to wipe it away.
And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
He certainly had a good game throwing the ball so far, but I think he was trying to take that from good to great with that throw, trying to get one downfield.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Here's Prescott. That's into the hands of Tolbert. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. First catch for him. It's good for a dozen and a first down.
So many times in my career I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing, but as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Now Williams running left. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31.
Not a lot of running room there, not a place to make a cut and kind of exit out, because they had everything bottled up. Looked to me like the linemen were taking on their blocks really well and giving up no creases.
Snap will come from the 31 on 2nd and 7. Prescott now. Drops it to Blue, complete. That one a first down pickup of 8.
That's a pretty play there coming out of the backfield, but as that back, you've got to be conscious of making sure you're securing the football. When you get out in open field, sometimes you get a little loose with it as you're trying to get up ahead of steam. Make sure you keep it close to your body, because those defenders are trying to punch it free. He does a nice job there protecting the ball and picking up a first down.
From the gun, it's a run for Williams. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. 47 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
Now, Brandon, that's the way you want to run the football. There should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
2nd down and 4. Here's Prescott. Finding room at midfield. And he takes it across the 50 to the 46-yard line. Prescott and Lamb hooking up for the Cowboy first.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
So a 1st and 10 now in Denver territory at the 46. Out of the gun, they run with blue. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Oh, there's plenty of traffic waiting for him up the middle. But give him credit, he tried barreling through anyway. They're fortunate to get a yard out of that one.
Ball spotted at the 45. Here's a 2nd and 9. Looking to throw. Prescott. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
Offenses all over continue to be aggressive, and most people never turn down a shot at a deep ball. But oftentimes, it attracts a little bit of extra attention. And it did on that play, and that one got knocked away.
And now on 3rd down, they'll need to get it to the 36 to pick up the first. Prescott from the gun. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. And the Cowboys going to bring on Brian Anger to punt on 4th down. And Marvin Mims deep for Denver. And that hits at the 6 and carries into the end zone for a touchback. And Denver getting set to take the field. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. To throw is Nix. And he can't escape, and down he goes. Buried by multiple defenders on the drive's first play.
Well, that was an interesting little chess match there because the offense went empty set. No running backs in the backfield, so they're trying to get people out into a route pretty quickly. But guess what? The defense sees that. They go ahead and move themselves into a blitzing situation and come right after the quarterback. They had more guys there than they could.
And pressure coming, and they got him once again. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here is 3rd and quite a ways. Now a give right side. Harvey. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. The Broncos send out their punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the Cowboys are going to take over in great position here with a 1st and 10. Dallas offense set for this next drive. And now with still more than a minute to go in what's been a tight game, you figure we'll try to see them move the ball downfield.
And remember, they get the kickoff to start the second half, so this is a golden opportunity for them to go down there and put up a couple of sixes back-to-back. What a momentum swing that would be.
Yeah, you might be able to get a 2-for-1 without ever even giving up the football. And this throw a bit late as he couldn't reach back for it.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. The short one there taken in by Ferguson. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30. 14 yards, good for a Cowboy first down.
And it's a real luxury when you have a guy who can turn a short throw into a solid gain at any moment. Once he caught that ball, he ID'd where the open grass was and got there in a hurry to pick up a new set of downs for his offense.
Throw left side, hauled in by Pickens. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And they'll be left with a second and about a foot. And they'll burn the timeout with 5 seconds left. A chance to try to add 3 points before heading to the locker room. Now with 5 seconds left, not really enough time to run another play and then stop it, so on comes the field goal unit. On the left hash mark, this a 38-yard attempt. And his kick is good. And that moves him up by a touchdown now at 17-10. So a capper there to a pretty good first half.
And I love the way that they put a chokehold on the clock and pretty much drained everything before they put the field goal on the board as they headed into the half.
So barring a touchback, this likely the final act of the half as the kick is away. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. The Broncos going to get one more possession in this first half. And they'll have time for one play. There's 2 seconds on the clock. Final play of the first half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10. A final shot before break. Nix, he's going to loft one deep left side here. It's caught inside the 25. First half in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. One touchdown is the difference. 17-10 our score, and we are back underway on EA Sports. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. Out come the Cowboys now as he'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 27. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Able to hit his target, Lamb. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here.
And his play caller does a nice job of giving him an easy throw to start this drive, and he takes advantage of it. The completion sets up a manageable second down.
From the 34-yard line, here's 2nd down and 3. Now the first carry here for the running back. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
That's a good, nice, crisp run for a first down. I wonder if the defense might have been loosened up a little bit, maybe anticipating a pass instead of the run that they got.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. He's got it to Williams. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. So it goes as a completed pass, but they lose a full 5 yards.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack. But that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
Oh, he dropped it. They were looking for him in the middle third. He couldn't catch it. Now 3rd down.
Well, partner, guaranteed they approached this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
To throw is Prescott. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he can only manage to get this to the 45-yard line. Well short of the first. That'll bring up 4th down. They wind up getting 8 yards, but they needed more than that.
And that doesn't have to gain big yardage to be an impactful play, because if you can get those pass rushers second-guessing themselves that they might get hit with a screen, maybe you can wind up slowing them down just a step. And if you do that, that's a win for that play.
And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. And their defense did its job by forcing the punt to start things out. And now, Charles, can the offense get in gear?
I think, partner, you can sense them saying, okay, the first half was theirs, but now let's get the momentum back on our side. We forced a punt. Now let's go downfield and score. If we do that, we'll be set up well for this second half.
Now this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
And some play callers, when they go into games, they don't mind calling a lot of screens, and they don't care what down. They were maybe one block away from really having something there to start this drive. Good job defensively to cut through the blockers and make the tackle on the screen, or that could have gone for maybe 15 or 20 yards.
They'll bring a tight end in motion left. They'll run up the gut with Dobbins. Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. Okay, 2nd and 1, you get nothing. What now on 3rd and 1?
Sorry about that. I was so excited I jumped in on you. This is almost like practice to me. Line it up and do it again. You didn't get it right the first time. Just get right back on the ball and go. It doesn't matter that they know you're coming. You ought to be able to pick up this short yardage.
And he will have a Broncos first down by a couple of yards as they're able to get 4 there on 3rd and 2.
On 3rd down, that's a good job of situational football and understanding where the first down marker was and getting there.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Throwing Nix. A short throw to Ingram. And that's good for a gain of 6, and it's 2nd down.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. From the 38 now, here's 2nd and 4. A give up the middle to Dobbins. And he's going to have a Broncos first down as he'll get this up to about the 42.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
So 2 first downs, and that moves the ball to the 42 now, 1st and 10. And the slot man goes in motion left. He's going to get it on the jet sweep. Oh, and this one may need to go back to the drawing board. He's going to be swallowed up right away. And no big surprise, Micah Parsons doing what he does so well, dropping him for a loss.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Now a give, right side. Harvey. And slow going there as he'll only get a yard, maybe, up to the 41. A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive. To throw, here's Nix. And he will go down, a Cowboys sack. Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss.
Even the most elusive quarterbacks have those tough days where they can't avoid sacks, and this is one of them. 3rd time he's gone down. He might develop some happy feet now, wanting to escape the pocket and try and gain more yardage with his legs.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. 31 yards on the punt there. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. The Dallas offense back out onto the field. And our game's hit a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a snag. Punts on back-to-back drives.
And old school coaches don't necessarily mind that. Didn't turn it over, right? Didn't create a big play for the other team. Right now what you're looking for is can you gain an advantage in field position? And that's what both teams are seeking right now.
Yeah, they'll be seeking to gain that advantage here on this drive. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
From the lineman to the guy running with it, that was a well-executed first down by the offense. With 2 shots left to get the first, you can get a little aggressive here on 2nd down if you want and try for some bigger yardage.
And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on 3rd down. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. Throwing, Prescott. And this is going to be incomplete.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Dallas. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. And they won't risk defending a return here. That one's out of bounds, and it'll be spotted at the 14-yard line. And coming out now, the Broncos. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he's able to break out of 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Mozzie Smith there to bring him down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
This is 2nd and 8. The give is to McLaughlin. And down he'll go at the 25. 46 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point.
And that's a nice pickup of a first down on that 2nd down run. And at that yardage gained, they can run that play on any down.
They'll go play action with Nix. And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down.
Well, he certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
Following the incomplete pass, here they go again, 2nd and 10 from the 25. Here's Nix. And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. Micah Parsons able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
And that is incomplete.
Well, if nothing else, they were able to pick up 1 first down on this drive and get it away from their own goal line. But not much happening after that, and it leads to a punting situation.
The Broncos send out their punter now, standing right on his own 5-yard line. And just a 30-yard punt that time. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Pickens going in motion left. He'll get it here on the jet sweep. And good space to operate there as he takes this down inside the 35-yard line. Give them 15 there, and the Cowboys have a first. An excellent run there coming from out wide.
And we used to consider these jet sweeps to be gadget plays or something a little bit unusual, right? But now most teams have some version of this play in their playbook. And I think it's a lot because of the receivers that are being developed nowadays. These guys look like running backs, even though they're playing out on the perimeter.
His throw incomplete.
Well, that's a defensive coordinator's got to be happy with that result. They took away all options downfield and forced the incompletion.
Third quarter of a tight football game as we come up on a 2nd and 10. Out of the gun, here's Prescott. And he comes back with one complete. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. That'll leave him with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete. So on 4th down, Prescott off, and on is Aubrey for the Cowboy field goal. He hit his first. Now this from 43. And this one is right through. And they double him up here. That makes our score 20-10. So the lead grows here incrementally, but I think the way their defense is playing, you feel okay with just getting 3.
They've definitely been stout so far, but now that could all change because if one guy gets loose for 70 yards, this is a different game. But as it stands, field goals are good. Just keep adding to that lead.
So after the made field goal, back out is Aubrey to kick this away. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Broncos are about set to go on offense. Nix to the air. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. So the flag thrown for the contact, mark off the yardage.
And sometimes you just read a hitch route way too fast. You get there before you're supposed to, and there's the penalty.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Now a handoff for Dobbins. DeMarvion overshown, the one to bring him down.
Not a huge play, but I think they're more than happy with how it turned out. Don't be surprised to see them revisit that call because there was a lane there for more than just 5 yards. Put it in your back pocket and break it out when you need it later.
Here's 2nd and 5 now from the 37. On the ground, here's McLaughlin. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. That one, a 1st down pickup of 8.
And that's another big-time run. And it sure looks like the leverage game is being won by the offensive line. They're the low man on just about every snap, and they're winning, pushing back the defensive front and creating great space for their runners.
On play action, here's Nix. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Kenneth Murray in there to record another sack, and that is now 6 on the afternoon for this defensive unit. Well, collectively as a defense, Charles, I think if you get 4 sacks a game, you're feeling really good. Now they have 6 as a unit.
And that type of a number is just staggering because there's so many ways to try and counteract it. But in this case, they've got no answers for this unrelenting pressure coming at their quarterback.
He'll get 3, but it leaves him with a big hole here on 3rd and very long. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his third down play as we've played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back now to Denver. It's the Broncos trailing, but they do have possession of the football as we begin quarter number 4. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
Now he's loose at the 40.
And all the way home for a Broncos score. A great effort there. 61 yards.
And the Broncos have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th.
So that's a really big play here in the 4th quarter. And don't look now, they're right back in this game.
Did it feel to you, as it did to me, that maybe they were a little bit soft in what they were lining up with on defense? Almost like they were protecting the lead rather than trying to make a play.
And now that lead is down to just 1 score. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off.
And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. That last touchdown has made this really tight. They're clinging now to this slim lead. Second half, they only have a field goal. This offense needs to kick it into gear.
And right now, I'm looking directly at the field general, at the quarterback. Because to me, he's got to take over right now. By word, pumping his team up, and then, of course, by deed with his play. My school coach used to say that all the time. Laddie, take over by word and deed.
And deed means action.
Exactly.
The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup.
Well, it may seem a little unorthodox to some people. Got the lead, 4th quarter, yet he's still firing away. I think he believes that's the best way to go ahead and win the game.
Yeah, a lot of coaches say, let's just run the football, be conservative. He's sticking to his game plan.
No, that is his game, and that's what they're going to ride.
Outright, he finds Tolbert.
And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
Here's 2nd and 7.
Now Prescott. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
The good signal callers would never go back in the huddle and play the blame game because they need those guys to protect him. But on that last one, his offensive line, they lost their leverage very quickly, and that's why they were able to get to him and hit him as he tried to throw the football and force an incompletion.
Prescott.
Screenplay set up for Williams.
And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. 14 yards, good for a Cowboy first down.
And that pickup of a first down, that's going to leave a mark because they really needed to stop them there, didn't they?
Oh, so frustrating. Defensively, you're a play away from getting that football back here down late. Tough.
Now they've got to find a way to create a turnover or a takeaway. Otherwise, this one will probably get away from them.
Oh, no, he lost the football. It's picked up by the Broncos. And they will take over possession of the football at their 42-yard line.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. What a big 4th quarter fumble recovery a moment ago, and now they are set up with a chance to take the lead. And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped.
Great way to start the drive. 20 big ones and a first down.
And that's not a play that you see all that often at the start of a drive, but some teams, they don't mind doing it. And that one, well sold by the offensive lineman. They showed the pass, and then they got out into space, able to get some good blocks downfield and allow the play to be successful.
And they will only muster a yard here to the 38.
38-yard line, 2nd and 9. Looking to throw. Nix. That is caught by Vele. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. And this is going to be incomplete.
Well, if you're going to give out a little applause on that play, it has to go to the defense. More good work by them. They've taken away the passing lanes all game long, and you can see the frustration that it's causing because he just about threw that one into the first row.
So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. And this is good from 57 yards out. That was bombs away right there. And in the fourth quarter, this game is tied. We've seen some big kicks in the NFL the last few years, and that one might just rank right up there.
And you know, you can hear the crowd react, right? But I was focused in on the sideline and watched them absolutely erupt. I don't know how many of them thought that he was actually going to make that kick, but how about how they felt when the ball went over the post?
Now this one setting up for a great finish, all tied in the fourth as the kick's away. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. And out now come the Cowboys. Well, the bad news, they had the turnover last time. The good news, their defense only surrendered 3. So now we are set up for a great finish, all tied here in the fourth. So Prescott of the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. A short one there taken in by Ferguson. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play, and it's 2nd down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
Here's a 2nd and 5. Play fake. Here's Prescott. And that's caught inside the 35. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. George Pickens, 66 yards. And the Cowboys strike quickly to take the lead here in the fourth. Might be seeing that one on the highlight shows tonight. The home run ball here in the fourth quarter to take the lead.
There's nothing like being aggressive, preaching that to your team, and then following through. All the way through. Go ahead and throw one more up there. Why not?
Been a great game, and we are not done yet. So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. The Broncos offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. And now after the touchdown a moment ago, they work from behind in a 7-point game in this fourth quarter. Plenty of time on the clock. They couldn't ask for much more to this point in the second half. A gorgeous day, one-score game. 1st and 10 here. Now it's Nix. He finds his man, complete. That's Harvey. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on 1st down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're either throwing it at the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it off, or you throw it away, throw it over the sideline. Don't try and freelance and try and make a bigger play. There's really no one else running a pattern that should be open.
The Broncos on 3rd down. They're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. Here it's 3rd and 3. They'll try the left side. It's Harvey. And he'll be tackled about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. A 1-yard pickup leads to 4th down.
You know, we might start getting some props here in the booth. You know, that one that says the D and then the fence that you put up next to it? How about that? They brought out the jumbo package and still couldn't move them off the line of scrimmage enough to pick up that 1st down.
Impressive. They were ready defensively for that jumbo set. And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. And now Dallas gets set to take the field. They have the lead, obviously, late in the game. I guess the good news for them is if for some reason they would make a mistake, a field goal does the opposition no good.
Everyone loves to have a little bit of a cushion, and that helps you immeasurably. But the bottom line is, do all the things that you're taught in order to close out the game. Don't even let that become an issue.
Yeah, but still a one-possession game. This one not fully over yet. So they'll get nothing out of that play, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. You're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
Here's Prescott. And this is incomplete.
I can assure you, setting up a screen is much more difficult than it appears. It requires excellent timing from everyone on the offense, and a defense's #1 goal is to throw that timing off.
They come up to the line now facing a 3rd and 10 after the incompletion. Prescott now. He finds Pickens over the middle, and he will have a Cowboys 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
And that certainly appears to be a critical conversion right there because not only do they keep the drive going, they take valuable time off the clock as well. They have to feel really good about that last completion.
Now a 10th carry. Here's Williams. He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards.
I know we can't hear what's going on in that huddle right now, but I'll guarantee you at least one offensive lineman is saying, my bad, we simply couldn't move them off the line of scrimmage. We've got to do a better job trying to root those guys out of there.
Here's a 2nd and 8. Here's Prescott. He'll find Lamb. That's complete. And this is going to be another 1st down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos 40. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
It's a nice completion, a little bit of run after catch as well to create the yardage that they got. But it is so tough to cover that route, the drag route, because they run it at varying speeds. Because the key is to create hesitancy on the defender's part.
Always so empathetic for those DBs, aren't you? He's got this to Pickens. And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards.
And these guys certainly are not hiding what their intention is. They're absolutely showing it. They're definitely not going to sit on this lead here in the 4th quarter.
Now Prescott. He finds his man complete. It's Lamb. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. That will go as a pickup of 7 on the 7th play of the drive. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Prescott from the gun. And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack.
Yeah, some real defensive resistance there, saying not so fast to a good drive. They had marched to the end zone the last time out.
They'll need a big play here, will Dak and the Cowboys after the sack. It's 3rd and long. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now 4th down.
I thought he did a pretty good job there to get back what he could, but let's face it, that sack on 2nd down, talk about throwing a wrench into the works. It certainly did.
Yeah, he did everything he could there trying to pick up some positive yardage, and he did, but not enough.
And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will extend their lead even further. A big one there. That gives them a little cushion and makes it a two-score game.
Yeah, bled a little time off the clock, put some points on the board. It's not totally out of reach yet, but it has to feel pretty good to them right now because as a defender, you go out on the field and say, guess what? You can put some points on the board, but that won't beat us.
So after the made field goal, back out is Aubrey to kick this away. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line.
The Bronco offense now set to come back out onto the field.
And the complexion of this one has changed a fair amount. That last field goal made it a two-score game, so they need to get points out of this drive relatively quickly. To throw is Nix.
And this will be incomplete.
Yeah, offenses always try to be smart about when they're trying to dial up a screen to the running back because they understand you can only go to the well so many times in a game without the defense starting to anticipate the call.
2nd and 10.
Back to throw. Nix.
And he's going to have the hook up to Sutton. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
In this situation, the dictation is coming from the defense, right? They're going to tell you, you can have 6, 7 yards, do that all the way downfield. Let's just go ahead and take the time off the clock. I think they've got to start attacking vertically a lot more.
They'll come up facing 3rd and 5.
Looking to throw. Nix.
He'll let this go deep for Sutton.
And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
And they're at the point of the ball game now where they've got to take some chances. They've got to put the ball in the air and just see what happens. But this defense knows that all too well.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out.
They're going. It's Nix. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on 4th down. Felt compelled to go for it there on 4th down, trailing in the 4th quarter. They got it done.
And there's always a lot of pressure on a 4th down call. Doesn't matter the distance. You still have to get it done, as you noted, and they did.
And he'll get this forward only for about a yard, as that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Second and 9 now. That's caught. It's Marvin Mims.
And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys 39.
Well, that was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
All 3 timeouts remain, but they've got to score quick. It's 1st and 10. Open man downfield. It's Vele.
Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll get it with just over 90 seconds to go in the ball game.
Here's 1st and goal. Throwing Nix.
And the screen unsuccessfully dropped it.
Whew, that's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle, so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
Nothing on first down, so the ball remains at the 8-yard line, 2nd and goal.
Here's Nix once more. They'll set up the screen. It's McLaughlin.
And this play doesn't go anywhere. Backwards, losing yardage to the 11.
Oh, partner, when you see a screen pass and the defensive tackle ends up making the play, you know that one wasn't sold well at all because he should be upfield by the time you throw the pass. If not, you end up with big trouble, as we just saw right there.
Over the middle, he finds Vele.
And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4.
Completed pass brings up a 4th down situation. Do you play analytics on this one? Well, what do your analytics tell you about going for it here? I wonder what they would say.
They tell me you're down by this margin 4th quarter. You're going.
They'll go for it. Here's Nix.
And he takes this one into the end zone, and all of a sudden, here in the final minute, things get a little bit tighter.
What an effort there. Sometimes you hold your breath a bit when you see your quarterback diving for the end zone. You don't want him to land on a shoulder wrong or take a big shot. But he looks none the worse for wear here, and that winds up a touchdown.
Lutz good on the extra point. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. So with under 30 seconds to play, this is the game right here. And the Cowboys are going to secure the football, and with it, they'll just about secure the victory as well. The risk-reward of the onside kick, when you don't get it, the risk comes out to play, and here they gave up great field position.
And that's the key to everything, because you're trying your best to press advantages when you have them. And field position leads you to that type of play calling, and whether you want to blitz or whether you want to throw the ball deep, those types of things, now that they've given up that type of field position, the advantage is switched to their opponent.
Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in the game. The Cowboys on their way to victory as they take a knee. Now the Broncos will use their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. So he'll take a knee here to wrap this one up, and he's going to want to keep that game ball. He was sensational.
Yeah, it's fun to kneel down in front of your home crowd, but when you go on the road, that band of brothers attitude, right, just us against the world, and get it done, how happy are they?
I remember a coach at a previous stop telling me, you get a win on the road, doesn't matter the opponent, get out of there like you stole something, and they did in this one. So this one will end in a victory for the Dallas Cowboys. And it's never easy to come into Denver to win. You think all you have to deal with the altitude, but they got the job done.
Well, there's a reason Olympic athletes train nearby. All right, they've got a terrific training center in Colorado Springs. You train at the altitude, the lungs expand, you go down to the regular. Oh, my goodness, they can go all day. And, in fact, a lot of visiting teams, when you visit Denver, you know what's printed in your locker room? Welcome to the Mile High City. The air is rare. They get in your head that way.
So that'll just about do it for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everyone, as we say so long from Denver.